All right, so here it is, part two of the Sierra Chart Spreadsheet series. And what we're going to do is we're going to take things a little bit deeper. We're going to go like one step further, and we're going to get a little bit deeper into how we can use the spreadsheet to do what we want to do. Now, a quick little recap. What we went over is, as you can see right here, I didn't change any of the settings. As you can see right here, or any of my notes or whatever, we got the syntax that we look for. Here's the full syntax of one thing that we were trying to do, and here's another syntax. And so we understand the syntax, or the language. We understand how to get the spreadsheets. We understand the studies that we can use in order to create alerts, or a trading system. Actually, we just went over the alert for the first video within the series. So we understand that. We know what the spreadsheet looks like. Okay, and here's the spreadsheet, and we can understand how to get to it, and you know what each piece of the spreadsheet is. So if you want more information about all that, if you didn't watch the first video within this series, go ahead and jump back over and watch that one. I'll leave a link up here in the video, or also in the description below. So we got a firm understanding of the basics of spreadsheets and alerts in the language of Sierra Chart. So let's go ahead and dive a little bit deeper, and let's look at some more things with the spreadsheet. In the last video, we only talked about one side of things. We only talked about the bullish side. Well, what if we want to also have an alert for the short side? So it's really easy. Now if we want to do it with the regular alert condition, what we would have to do is we have to create a whole, go in here and make another alert. I can go ahead and just simply duplicate it, and for this one, we're going to name this one to keep it organized. Right, buy signal for this one, and then in this one we're gonna have a sell signal. Okay, really simple. And also, since we're selling, we want to make sure that we are going to make sure we adjust that. So we're gonna have, this time we're gonna have a red candle. Okay, or a red arrow, excuse me. We're gonna have a red arrow, which is pointing down, a red arrow down, right? And we want to make sure it's 15 ticks above the high of the candle that is placed at, or placed on, or placed above. Okay, so right now the alert conditions, if we go ahead and hit apply, we got to go back and we got to unhide it because I hid it in the last series, or the last video, so now we got it there. But you see it's the same as, we need to change you can see it's the same as our green arrows, right? So what we got to do is we got to reverse the language around. And again, if you didn't watch the first video within this series, when I use like abbreviated words like KA or 200, you might be confused about what I'm saying. So to get clarification on all that, just go back and watch the first video. If you're confused about anything I'm talking about, because I'm not going to go back and reiterate everything that I said in the first video. So you just got to go back and watch the first video, all right? If you're confused about any of any words that I use, right? Okay, now, so back to this. We want to make sure that the KA is actually below the 200 this time. Also, we're going to look for a bullish candle. So we can just do this two ways. For a bullish candle, of course, the open is going to be below the close. So you can either, the close is above the open. That's saying the same thing in two different ways. So just to make it easy, I'm just going to change this greater than sign to a less than sign. Okay, and now we want the close to take out the low, right? So the last price, or the current price, or the close, needs to be less than the low. And again, we want to make sure that we use all capital letters. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and apply. All right, and it disappeared. Okay, because the condition hasn't been met for this right here. That's why. Okay. You see we do have it right here, over here where the condition is met. All right, so we know that it works correctly. So we got the Ka, which is below the 200. We also have this bullish candle here. We got a open that is higher than the close, and then we had the close of the next candle take out the low of that bullish candle. Okay, so very simple, very simple strategy. So now with all of that being said, it's not a strategy, I mean an alert. With all that being said, my preferred method of using the which study that I'm going to use, whether I'm going to use these color bar based on alert conditions, or if I'm going to use this study. It's not showing it to me, but this study is the spreadsheet system alert, right? Spreadsheet system / alert. That's what this study is. So when I'm trying to make a determination of which one I'm going to use, for me personally, my alerts, I like to write it out like that. I like to use the color bar based on alert, or you can also have the other one, which is color background based on alert condition. That's what I like to use for my alerts or my signals or my studies. And for the actual automated trading, that's when I come in here and I use the spreadsheet system for trading. Okay, that's what I use the spreadsheet for. Now, I haven't personally used this in live trading, but I have used there's another one. Let's see if I can find it. If I remember what it is, I think it's called trade system based on alert condition. Yeah, there we go. So I have used this one. I have used the trading system based on alert condition. And basically what that does, you can do the same thing that we did here. You can type everything out. You can type everything out, and then you'll use that study to actually place your trades, automate your trading. Okay. So I've used that one before. And the one thing that I will say about using those is it's not a perfect system, and it is prone to having errors, and you got to be very specific with your with the syntax or how you write everything out, because it can just it's not a perfect system, and it's if you don't have everything typed out exactly correct, it's the same thing with spreadsheet. When we're dealing with automated trading, if you don't have everything typed out exactly correct like you want to see it, you can end up getting yourself into a trade that you really don't want to be in. So I say all of that to say, be very careful when you use this for automated trading with your live, money. One thing with doing automated trading this way, it can actually be useful when you're back testing, or if you're, you're paper trading and you don't want to sit there right in front of the screen, and you just want to let it work out, and you want to see how good, it works, or the strategy works, For anything that's not related to actually using trading with live money, personally, it's my personal opinion and experience, is it can be useful for just testing things out. I personally am not a fan of using automated trading this way, but if you are, if you don't want to use this to actually trade in a live account, just make sure you test it, and make sure you have all the bugs and the kinks worked out, just like if you're going to code anything else. All right, so I just wanted to throw that little caveat in there. And then in the third video in this series, we'll get into more details about my recommendations for automated trading this way. Well, yeah, I just say that for the third video. All right, so getting back to this, though, this is our bullish signal. Oh, which one is this? Okay, this is our buy signal. I'm gonna go ahead and unhide this study as well. I'm going to hide the spreadsheet, and we're gonna hit apply. Now you can see we have signals here. All right, so let's say that we don't really care about the pre-market information. We only care about the trading information when the market is live. So we're just gonna take this one step further, and we're actually gonna use our time range study for this. Okay, so, and this is to illustrate the point I made before in the first video about the ones and the zeros. All right, so again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and watch that first video. I'm gonna keep saying that, if anything, that I just to make sure that we're clear, and you're like, well, what is he talking about? All right, so my time range, the open market time range. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put that up here as well. TR stands for time range. Okay, we're just gonna go TR equals, remember we need the ID and the SG number, so it's going to be ID 10 dot SG1. I'm sure it's SG1. Let's go ahead and verify. Yep, SG1. It's always going to be in sequential order. So if it's a study where it only has one thing that it's looking at or one subgraph, then you can always automatically assume that it's going to be SG1. And you can see the time that I have set for this time range is 0930 to 1700 or 5 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so we got that information right there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to our buy signal, because that's where we really have we got the alert, and we're going to go to the alert conditions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it, just to keep it simple, I'm going to add this to the beginning of it. So what was it? ID, capital letters, ID 10 dot SG1, and we're going to make sure we separate that by a comma. All right, so now let's see what we get. Okay, now that's good. So now you can see we didn't get any alerts right here. We only got the alert when when in our the time that we actually care about. So that can be helpful when we're back testing and we don't want to crowd our charts too much. Okay. Also, one thing I want to note out here, since this is the kind of advanced thing, this alert is only going to backdate or go back 2,000 bars, as you can see right there. Now if you want to change that, you just go and you change it. Let's say I want more than 2,000 bars. I want to really get deep into my back testing. Let's say I want 100,000 or a million bars. You can do that if you want to. Okay, that's just, I'm not gonna bog down the system. It doesn't really affect your system in terms of, it doesn't slow it down or anything. It's just whatever you prefer, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and do the same thing for the sell signal. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do ID, what was it? ID 10 dot SG1. Go ahead and apply. All right, see, so what happened was, I got this when I did that. I did it on purpose. Okay, I made a mistake on purpose. Do you know why I made the mistake? Yeah, so I forgot to put the comma behind the the syntax that I just put in there, that I added to my code here. And then what'll happen is you'll get alert. Your alert manager will open up and it'll tell you where you're messing up. So we look down here, we can see it says under the source column, it says sell signal, and then it says alert formula for the chart number and all that stuff. And it tells you, pretty much it tells you that you have a formula problem. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're going to fix that. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna correct our mistake right there. Put that comma right in there, and we're gonna hit apply. Now, where this can really trip you up is sometimes it's hard to tell between a comma and a period. So if you got what you think is a comma sitting in there but it's really a period, or vice versa, it could take you, depending on how long your condition is, it could take you a while to find an error and find where you messed up. All right, or if you got a syntax error in there where the formula doesn't really make sense to where Sierra chart can't read it, it also alerts you about that. Now also, you can have an alert sound if you want. Go ahead and apply on that and make sure that take holds. As you can see, now we don't have any more sell signals in the time frames that we don't care about. Okay. And also, since we're here, let's go back into the settings. If you want, you can have an alert sound. So there's some default sounds that you can put in, or that are in here, but you're only, so if I do alert sound 1, technically I didn't select the sound yet. You have to apply an actual sound to the alert sound number, right? So let's say I want alert sound 1. Go ahead and hit OK. All right, so you're gonna go up here to global settings, and then you're gonna go to general settings, and then over here under the third tab, this is where we can adjust our alert sound settings, right? So like say for alert number 1, you can test the sound. You see we have alert sound number 2 .wave, and it's just all the alert sounds are just .wave files. So you can have whatever, you can import sounds into Sierra Chart, because Sierra Chart, of course, is highly customizable. So you can insert whatever sound that you want into it. So if you got some weird little sound that you want to hear every time you get an alert, or you place a trade or whatever, you can put that .wave sound in there, and then you can test it. And you can see now that's the sound. Let's say we go to another alert number 2. Got some clap in there, and these are the default alerts. I didn't bother to put my own sounds in there.
Order has been canceled.
All right, and it's a very smooth and sexy voice saying the order has been canceled. So that's how you adjust your alert sounds. Now let's say you don't want to have a different study for each alert condition that you want, or each alert that you want. So you can actually use your spreadsheet for that. Instead of having these two, you can actually just use one spreadsheet to do exactly what we did here, right? So let me go ahead and take this, go ahead and copy this over since we already got it set. And we're going to put, this one is the buy signal. This is the sell signal. So we're also going to, on a spreadsheet, we're going to add the time range in there as well. So for right now, let's go ahead and we're just going to take this, just make it really simple so that we're all ready to go. And we got to make sure we make some changes to that. So let's go ahead and go and open up the spreadsheet. Make sure these are hidden because we don't want to use these right now, and unhide the spreadsheet. Go ahead and hit OK on that. Open up our spreadsheet, and let's make sure our syntax is correct. So since we're reversing everything, this AA3 is of course our KA. We want to make sure that it's below the 200, so less than. All right, and then we want to make sure we're looking for a bullish candles in this instance. So this code would be for a bearish candle. So all we got to do simply is just change that over and make that a less than. And then we want to make sure the current, or the close, or the last price is actually less than the low. So the low in this instance would be delta number 4 of which is the previous candle, right? Let's look at our syntax and make sure everything is good. We got an extra bracket in here that we don't need. Get that out the way. And also, so we want to go ahead and we want to add our time range in there as well. So let's scroll over and see what column and row number we are looking at for the time range. All right, the time range that we want is this open market trading time, and it's going to be AG number 3. And we just had a trade. That's something that was weird. AG number 3 equals 1. All right. Or actually, it should just be AG number. Yeah, no, AG number 3 equals 1. So this is the first time we're going to learn together if this actually is going to work or not. So let's go ahead and see if this syntax is good enough, because I have not done this, and we're actually placing trades, if you can hear it in the background, but we're going to get to that in a second. Okay, see, our condition was met, so it's actually making trades. Let's go ahead and look at that real quick. Go over here to trade and show order fields. Okay, so it wasn't actually technically making trades, I don't think, but it was giving me the sound like it was making trades. But oh yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. So remember, no, that's not what happened. I'm not even really sure what happened there. So anyway, we know that our alert got condition, our alert was triggered right there. And I guess I have an alert sound on the spreadsheet. I think that's what happened. Yeah, alert sound is number 1. So it's enabled. The alert is enabled. So yeah, it was just playing this sound right here. That's all that was. Okay, I thought it was actually taking trades, but it wasn't. Okay. So you can see it just keeps doing it over and over. So if we want to, it's one thing that we can change. And one of the settings in here, and I know I'm kind of all over the place, and I apologize for that. Actually, no, we're gonna go back. So I'm gonna act like that didn't even happen. Let's act like that didn't even happen. All right, bring up the thing. All right, so now let's see if this actual, if this syntax or this formula here actually works. Let me go ahead and make sure I copied it. Since this is a sell signal, I'm gonna go and place this under sell entry. I'm gonna double click it to edit it. Go ahead and hit equals and paste that formula right in there and hit OK. All right, so that worked out. Just out of curiosity, let me see if I do. If I remove the equals 1, it still sits in there. So let me look and make sure. Yeah, so that's legit. So when it's true, it's automatically gonna know, it's gonna look for that to be true. And so now, you know, it's gonna make the condition do what we want it to do. All right, so and you can see we got a 1 down there. So and then it placed the sell signal where we wanted it, to be placed. Okay. Now, so as you heard earlier, we kept getting alerts for the buy entry alert condition, right? But let's say, so if we were, this is an actual trading system. Let me go ahead and minimize this. If we were, this is an actual trading system, it alerted about a good 4 or 5 times. So what would have happened if we were doing an actual trading system is it would have filled me, it would have taken 4 or 5 trades right there. So if we don't want to have multiple trades within one bar, we have to go back into our study and we have to make sure that we adjust that. Okay, and we're going to get into more detail about this within the next video of this series, where we're going to create a complete trading system example using the spreadsheet. So, but I just want to make this point since we did get the alert. So let's make this a point real quick. So what we want to look for is alert only once per bar. Right now that's set to no. We want to change that to yes, so that we don't go ahead and apply, so that we don't, you know, get multiple alerts within one bar, and we don't have to keep getting the same alert that we already got alerted on. Or if we in an actual trading system, then we don't place multiple trades where we're only trying to trade one, right? Or trying to place one trade. Okay. Also, what you can do is you can, if you want to, you can have it where it only signals on the bar close. So let's say we don't want it to signal when the bar is still open, because we want to, let's say we want to avoid a false breakout. You can also set it to where you only get the signal on the bar close, okay, for, you know, whatever column. So it's by column. It's not, you know, it's not just for the whole system itself, or for the whole alert system itself. It's by, you know, particular columns. So you got column L, N through Z, or just columns K and M, right? So we go back to our spreadsheet. You can see the column K and M. Those are our buy columns. And then the other columns, you have other columns over here that you can set for stuff. So let's say I want to make and this is something that, you know, I actually may end up doing. Let's say I want to use another, I can use these columns for other things, all right? And I can just, you know, label it whatever I want to label it, and then have the alert condition set in there. So I can say for P, I'm just going to pick P just randomly. Let's say I want to make this alert condition, I want it to alert me when the market, got to edit it. Let's say market, or let's say opening bell. Okay, so I'm gonna hit okay on that, and now I'm gonna put my formula in here, which is going to equal, and my time range, I didn't put it in here, but my time range is AG3. That's the, AG number 3, right? So if we look at that, that is going to be AG. This is AG, my time range that I like to reference, and then row 3. So AG column, row 3. Okay, now put that in there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and minimize this spreadsheet. I actually didn't realize that it can do this until just now as I'm going over this. Now I was looking through the settings. So I may actually end up using this a little more often and getting to know it more. As I'm making this video, I'm starting to learn some things myself, and I may start using this a little more often. But let's go ahead and get in here. And that was column P, if we remember. So now I can set an alert to that. Let's say I'm going to use, I don't know, alert number 2, okay, and apply. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to use the replay mode. Let me drag my chart over right before the market opens. So I have not done this before. I have no idea if this is going to work or not. And let's go over a little bit. That should do us. So I got my replay mode stuff right here. Go ahead and hit play, and let's see if this works. I don't want to clear. Let's go. So when the time range study is true, we should get an alert. If it doesn't take Sierra chart too long to load in the information for this replay. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see if it works. Let's try to speed this up just a little bit. I thought it would operate a little bit quicker than this. Try to speed it up just a little bit more. So we'll know if it, if it happened. Because I get the background will change to green. Hopefully it alerts. I don't even know. Okay, it didn't do it. I don't even know if I got an alert set for alert sound number 2. Let me check that out real quick. So let's look at our spreadsheet and let's see what happened. All right, so you can see the spread. It did give us a 1 right there. Okay. So let's see if I actually have an alert sound for alert number 2. Go back to settings. Alert 2. Yeah, it's supposed to be an applause. And that works. Right. So I'm gonna have to play with that a little bit more to see if that actually worked. Or maybe, let's see. I don't think I changed it to, or it could have happened too fast. That could have happened a little bit too fast. So I don't know. I have to play with it some more, but that's, it basically gives you an idea of what we're looking at, right? So we know the condition was met. It was in P. Anyway, so I have to play with that and see, exactly, if maybe it was because of the replay mode and it happened too fast or whatever. But I'll play with it some more and make sure that works. So that basically gives you an idea of what you can do with this spreadsheet system alert study. All right. So maybe did I hit apply? Yeah, I had to because it was already saved. Anyway, so the last thing we're gonna do, since this is the advanced alert portion of this series, we got one more thing that we want to do. All right, so for the last part of this video, we're going to go a little bit deeper into the syntax. So in the beginning, before I talked about how Sierra chart communicates with and or statements for the syntax. All right, so let's go into the studies. Go back to the studies, and as you can see here, I already turned off because I paused the video. All right, so I already turned off the spreadsheet and I turned our buy signal back on. So let me go back into this study, and you see now right now we only have the and statement, and that's we've already talked about what this and statement does. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and talk about this crossover. We're going to add this crossover from below, or cross from below formula, our syntax within here using the or statement. Okay. So the way that I do it, there's probably multiple ways to do it, but if I'm using the or statement, I start with the or statement. So I'm going to go ahead and type in or, and go ahead and put my opening parentheses in there. So for this or statement, you want to have everything that you're looking for within the parentheses of the or statement. All right. So I got my opening parentheses there, and at the very end, I'm going to add my end parentheses, or my closing parentheses. All right. So now I'm going to put a comma, because we got to separate everything by a comma. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to copy this cross from below statement. And see, now we can see why I, write the statements out like this. It makes it simple, so I don't have to try to write everything out every single time or copy and paste from here. I can just easily, okay, what I want to do. I want to have put a bear candle within the syntax. I can just go and copy it here. I can, whatever I'm trying to do is just an easy copy and paste, because I already have the different sections written over here that's easy for me to grab. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy this cross from below statement. Okay, and I'm gonna right between the parentheses and the comma, I'm gonna go ahead and place that in there. Okay, it's a cross from below, and we need to close that out with the parentheses. It missed the parentheses. So let me go ahead and, that looks good. Let me go ahead and hit apply. All right, so that worked. If it didn't work, we would have got, our alert manager would have popped up and told us how wrong we are. So now let's go ahead, okay, and now we can see, not only do we have our signals from the previous and statement, to where we're looking for a bearish candle, and then we have the high, or the current price, or the close takes out the previous high of a bearish candle. Now we also have a signal for when the KA crosses over the 200. Okay, and then if you want to do that for the sell side of the game, let's go back into our studies, and for our sell signal, go ahead and turn that back on. Go into the alert condition, and I'm gonna copy this, but I'm gonna make one change. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that again. Let's put or, open parentheses, go to the end, close parentheses, because we're closing all of that out. Go back to the open parentheses, paste that in there, make sure our comma is in there, and make sure that's closed out. Make sure our closing parentheses is there for the cross from below statement. But instead of cross from below, since we're looking for the KA to cross below the 200, for this one we're gonna do cross from above. Okay, go ahead and check our work. Check and make sure I don't see if I can find any errors in here before I hit apply and okay. Looks good. Hit apply. Okay, and there we go. It also added where we crossed over. And again, we can get as detailed as we want to. If I wanted to go back in there and added the time range, so that I don't really, it doesn't give me any signals pre-market, it only gives me signals for the time range that I care about, we can do that. You can do however creative you want to get, you can get with this, with these alerts and using the spreadsheets. All right, and you can do the same thing in a spreadsheet. All right, so that concludes video number 2 in this Sierra chart series. And in the next video, we're going to start having a lot of fun, and we're going to create a trading system using the spreadsheet. All right, so stay tuned for that one, and I'll see you on the other side. Trade it easy.